as you already know, Jonathan,
Yeah.
we are talking about B1 iPayment today, but we'll just give a couple of slides and then I'll let Rosie do her thing. So presented by, which is very loosely because I'm not really doing any presenting, but I work for Ascari. I'm a pre-sales engineer, but I also do implementations as well. And no doubt during your implementation, you'll see quite a lot of me because I'm definitely going to be involved. Rosie is from Boyum, so she's actually going to be doing the real legwork in this in this presentation. So about Boyum, in a nutshell. So, and feel free to jump in at any point, Rosie. Boyum was actually started by some previous employees of SAP. And the idea is SAP has this, how can I put it now? Boyum allows you to change things and do things, or certain parts of Boyum allows you to do things and change things within SAP without actually affecting the core code of SAP. And this is why all our customers, really enjoy it, because you don't need a developer. It allows you to effectively increase the usage of your system and functionality of your system without affecting any core code whatsoever. But they also have some very, very nice add-ons, like the one we're going to talk about today. So they've got more than 7,000 customers worldwide in 105 countries and 170,000 users. From an Ascari point of view, we generally don't sell SAP without Boyum because it just gives great functionality. On the screen you can see here, there's many, many different things that Boyum offer, but the specific one we're going to talk today is the B1 iPayment. Now, I'm not going to talk through this because Rosie's going to talk about the vast majority of what you can very briefly see on the screen here. So whilst you have a quick look at that, Jonathan, I'm going to hand over the presenting to Rosie. So just one moment, and I'm going to make Rosie a presenter. So Rosie, over to you.
There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, sure can.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'm gonna continue where you stopped, Stuart. Okay. Well, thanks for joining today, Jonathan. Are you running on SAP Business One yet? Are you?
No, it's not been launched yet. No. Stuart would probably know more about it.
Yeah. So effectively, they're a new customer.
Okay.
They're going to be running SAP. We have an implementation to do for them. But today is more about, okay, what are the additional things that we can get from buying SAP and using Boyum? So they're not at the moment, but they will be, well, in the next, up and coming months.
Okay, and they have the usability package?
They will have the usability package.
Perfect. Okay, so I don't have to talk about that. Perfect. Well, Jonathan, what we're going to show you today is how you can use another add-on of ours to process credit cards. I assume you guys do use credit cards. The solution actually was designed with a gateway from the UK with secure trading. And what it is that you can really process your credit cards transaction in a very secure way, because we only work with gateways. The gateways is actually the one which does your credit card transactions, but we have an integration with them. So whatever you charge on the credit card or authorize, you can see in SAP Business One too. Okay. Do you use credit cards right now in your current system?
Okay, so in the current system, the payments are done separately, but we do accept card payments, Visa and MasterCard through a particular gateway, but then any card payments are then manually entered into the system that we use.
Oh, Oh, this is a must then. Okay, this is a must then. This is really, it's an integration. You don't have to go somewhere else and do it manually. You do it in SAP and it does it all automatically for you, basically. Okay?
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into SAP, which is going to be your solution zone. And once you have decided which gateway you're going to decide, since you're in the UK, I would say check out Secure Trading. Who are you using now?
At the moment, I think it's WorldPay, because there's going to be two separate areas, you see. I think there's going to be what we have through for card payments for physical products, and I think where I've been kind of thrown into this call as well, that we're going to be launching a software as a service. And I think it's like on a subscription basis, and how we can, I think, using a platform such as like Chargebee, and how we can, if there's a way of integrating that, or using how we're going to do the workflow to then kind of get that data out of Chargebee into SAP. But so there's two. So there's going to be, I think there's going to be the one gateway, which is going to be used for the physical products, and then I think there's going to be a separate gateway for the software as a service.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Stuart and Susan, you just come to me. Do you need the swipe cards?
We don't know. I mean, okay. A lot of the car payments, I say that there's nobody actually in the building. Nobody comes into the building to pay. It's very rare that we do that. And again, it tends to be people trying to send details. They'll ring up with details. Okay. And then they go through there. We do try and stop people from emailing it through, because it's just not secure enough. And you do try, although people often don't listen, and then you end up with people's card details, and you're thinking, what am I supposed to do with this? And you're trying to delete it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this would be a perfect fit. Okay, I'll go into SAP so I can show you. In SAP, it's going to be an add-on called B1 iPayment. Okay. You have the usability package, which is wonderful. You can do all your customizations. And what you do with iPayment, once you have it installed in SAP, you can, of course, test it out, in a demo mode base. We provide, Susan can give you dummy credit cards just to test it out. But what you tell on the configuration, you decide, when do you authorize a credit card? I don't know if you do authorizations now, meaning you're checking the credit card if they have any funds. Okay? Very, very common is when you do like on a sales order. On a sales order, when you do a sales order, you do an authorization on the credit card. Let's say I'm your customer and I have a credit card on file, my Visa, and you're going to check if I actually have funds available. Okay? So you can do authorization either on a document level, like you see on a sales order delivery or on an error invoice, or you can do batch authorization, meaning you are in charge and every day you go in at 4 o'clock p.m. and you do a batch authorization, meaning nothing happens while they do the documents, but you gonna come into SAP and say, okay, I want to pool all my sales orders. They were done today, today's date or a due date. It's up to you. You have all those parameters. It's very, very flexible. And you say, I want to authorize everything that comes up with my parameter set. And then you can do it as a batch. So you don't have to do it one by one. So that's totally up to you. Oh, it went out.
Just to point out, Rosie,
yes.
HydroJaws, where Jonathan's from, they're going to be using HANA. So, and again, for you, Jonathan, your screen's going to look slightly different. HANA's a bit more pretty, shall we say. It's a bit more modern looking, isn't it? So
he's right. Yeah.
So just to, if you've seen SAP and you're going, what's this? This is not what we bought. That's what it is. There's two different versions. One's an SQL version, but you've got the HANA version, which adds many more certainly reporting functionality.
Yes.
It's an in-memory database system. So just to let you know about that.
That's fine. I mean, I'm fine. We'll say I grew up with computers in the 90s, so I'm used to kind of.
What are you trying to say? You guys, like, I have an old system. Okay, you two.
No, I'm used to things looking like how, kind of more, kind of industrial.
Right.
I'm not, all this Apple, it's got to be beautiful. I just look at it going, what do you mean it's got to be beautiful? It's got to be functional, surely. I'm used to.
Exactly. No, but yeah, it does look a little bit different than HANA. But you can go in here, Jonathan, and say, okay, I'm going to do every night, I'm going to do a batch authorization, meaning all the new sales orders, you want to authorize it. Okay, and authorization is really for you to check if there's any money on the credit card and hold it kind of for you. And what's really nice is that you can do a markup. You're going to mark it up, each authorization, maybe 20% or an amount. Because you know for a fact when you do the error invoice that you will have shipping included, you're going to have some more expenses included. Okay, that's for your safety. Okay. So you can say, okay, my authorization, when I authorize a sales order, like I have right here, but you can authorize a delivery or error invoice, it's good for 7 days. But now you say, okay, what if this sales order is still open in 10 days because I'm waiting on some products? You can check this automatic reauthorization. And this is really nice because the system will actually go and look if any authorization have been expired and will reauthorize it for you. Okay? Okay. This here, whenever you decide for a gateway, let's say secure trading, we do not connect to WorldPay. I know that has come up, but they had a lot of merging. They merged with other companies last year. We had a call with them and they really didn't know which way they are going yet. But let's say you're going with secure trading, since they are UK based, ask them, how long is the authorization good for you guys on your end? Then you just set the same here. Okay? So this is your setup for the authorization. Here you set when the settlement, charging the credit card. I have it set that every time I do an AR invoice, it's going to charge the card. And what it does, on top of it, it creates my incoming payment. In SAP, if you do an incoming payment to an invoice, and Stuart, I'm sure you agree with it, it's a lot of clicks if you do it one invoice at a time. So with iPayment, you could just say, okay, charge the AR invoice, but I want you to do the settlement, the incoming payment, so I don't have to deal with it. Okay. You have options when you do a refund on a standalone credit memo. Let's say you owe me money, but I don't have any invoices open or whatsoever, and you have to do $100 credit memo for me. You can do a standalone credit memo, and then you can do a refund on my card, and you can decide, do you want to do an outgoing payment or a negative incoming payment? And Stuart will tell you what's best for you to use because of the deposit screen. Okay, but that's something once you get it implemented, Stuart, this is something, to explain on the deposit screen, the negative shows, but not the outgoing payment. That's the only difference. Permission, Jonathan, you are in charge and you can tell the system which user can do a refund. Very important, not everybody should do a refund, especially sales employees, right? It should be approved by a manager, I agree. And then you have alerts, maybe you are the one, if there's an internal message or on an error, you should get the alert. This is your configuration, very simple, very straightforward. Once that is done, which Stuart and his team will help you to configure what's best for your company, how you run your business, you are ready to add credit cards to the business partner. Okay, let me use this one. You see those colors you see and those question marks. This is all done with the usability package, the customization. Okay. If I go to payment terms, I have this credit card button. If I click on it, so this is me. You're on the phone with me, and I don't have any credit cards. I don't have any credit cards on on my file. I do have some. As you can see, you can have more than one credit card. I think up to 10. Hopefully you don't have a customer, they have up to 10. But I'm gonna click add. So I'm on the phone with you and I say, hey, I wanna give you a new credit card. All you do is click add. And then now I'm on my, in my case, I'm using authorize.net as my demo. And then you fill in the credit card information. Oops, that won't take this one. It's a little bit too far out. It takes the credit card information and you fill it in. Let me see what it all needs. And then you click save and done. And now this is on the gateway, like let's say authorize.net or secure trading. And now secure trading would create the token for you. And if I click refresh, you see the credit card comes back into the system as a token. There we go. Okay, it was this one that just came in. Then you can say, okay, it was this lady who gave me the credit card. You name it whatever you want, because you know from right here that it's a Visa card. Okay, we all know because it starts with what, 4. And then you can also set, if I tell you, hey, if you use one of my credit cards, this card never charge more than $500 per transaction. You can do that too. So you cannot do more than $500, authorize it, just $500 or charge it. So if you have really paranoid customers and they don't want to give you the credit card over the phone because you could write it down and maybe they don't trust you, you can do this. You say, okay, you copy this to clipboard, you open up your email and say, hey, Rosie, put in your credit card because I don't have it on file or it's expired or whatsoever. So I would click on the link. I'm located in the States usually. I can click on the link. It opens up the same window. I put in the credit card information and click save, and it will flow into SAP for you. And you never have to look at the credit card. And you will get a message, and I apologize for all those messages. It says new credit card was added to your system. So it's all automatic. The token was in your system. So you have your customer set up, you're all good to go. Make my screen bigger. I'm on a very small laptop. So I'm going to put in a sales order. I'm going to put in a sales order, and now let's see how it actually works. So I'm going to sell an item for this business partner. Let me get out of this business partner screen. I'm going to put a delivery date, and you see now, Jonathan, in SAP, you wouldn't have this tab. You have an iPayment tab. Oh, I just did training, and I have all those validations set. So you have this iPayment tab. That's something you wouldn't have in SAP. And what's really nice, because you have it configured, right? But maybe on this one, you don't want to do an authorization. You still have the flexibility to change it, if anything, okay? You can check on the sales order on any screen, on any customer document screen, what credit cards they have. And you see this one is my default credit card. If you have more than one, make sure one is default. I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to click add. That's an SAP error, don't worry about it. And you see I'm going to have a pop-up, meaning there's the sales order in the system, and now I have the pop-up. That's how I have it configured, and it pops up. What I like on the pop-up personally, because I still have the flexibility to change the card if I need to, okay? Or you still have the flexibility to maybe put $150 on one card and maybe something else on another card. You can split the amounts and so on. You also have the flexibility, if you have it set like this, that you can actually change the markup. Let's say, oh, this is a trouble customer, I'm going to mark it up 30%. So that's the flexibility on the pop-up. But of course you can do it automatic, so you don't have it, and it just authorizes the default card. Once you have the authorization done, you see on top it says sales order authorized, which I like. For all the salespeople, they know exactly what's going on with their sales order. And you see over here also authorized. Okay. And you see, let's say, if you should have an issue with an authorization or with settlement error, you have this reference number. So let's say you have secure trading and you call them up. I said, this is the reference number I had issues with. What do you guys show on your end, and so on. But you know that since you do already credit card. So
I would just say that I don't actually do it. It's actually somebody else. I'm actually in the technical department. So.
Okay. Well, I just pretend you do it. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. So, I'm learning.
Yeah. So authorization, as you see, very straightforward, simple, straightforward. And you see, you don't have to go to another screen and do it. It's all in SAP. That's the beauty. So I'm going to create an AR invoice. And remember, I have it checked that you charge the credit card when I do the AR invoice. I'm charging the card, and I want you to close it out and do the incoming payment, everything. So when I click add here, you see it's working with Gateway. It's charging the card right now. The blue line was charging the card. And now you see the AR invoice. I'm sorry, it's in German up here. I renamed it. This is an AR invoice. You see it's closed. And you also see that it was settled and the incoming payment towards this invoice was created. And the beauty is when I go back to my sales order and refresh it, you see it's also settled. So it follows through. That's the beauty. Your people, your salespeople, everybody knows exactly what happened to this invoice. You can also, let's say I call you and I say, okay, you charged the wrong card. It's not a problem. All you do is right click and just say refund or do a partial refund. It's up to you. Do you want to refund this this invoice? And you see that it's doing the refund now. And it's also going to ask you, do you want to do a credit mode? In some cases, you want to do a credit memo to close it out again. But I'm going to say no. And I'm going to refresh it. And you see the invoice opened up again. It opened up because I did a refund. This invoice, I had to do a refund and I want to put it on a different card, and you don't have that information. You can also create a pay now link. What this does, it creates a link like you saw earlier for the customer to pay the invoice. If I go in here, you sent me an email. I said, hey, Rosie, pay this invoice because it has been open for way too long. You sent me this link. It says $300 right here. You put in your credit card information, click pay, and it will flow back into your SAP. The token will come back to your SAP and it will close out the invoice again, okay? And you will get a message in SAP. It says an invoice has been paid. Warning, there a new payment has been received with the pay now link, because you sent me a pay now link. And I just drill back and open up that invoice. In this case, it's a different invoice and it was closed out. It was a different gateway. That's why you don't see this on top. So you can really automate it. So this is what you saw is if you let the user, if you decide on your configuration to do it on a document level, you know, you put in your sales order, authorize it. For example, in my scenario, you enter an invoice, you settle it, you charge the credit card. But if you or your company, your finance department rather does it themselves, they can always go in here under banking and do batch authorization. That means do a bulk authorization, do all the documents from today, or do batch settlements. Okay, I'm gonna run every day at 5 o'clock, all my settlements, do my charges of the credit card. Batch refund, I hope you never have to do. So But then also, instead of doing it manually here, this is, you go in, you're in charge, and there's Jonathan, I know you're not doing it. You say, okay, pull all my AR invoices, and okay, I want to go ahead, select them all and settle them, charge them. It's very common, people do that. But instead, for you doing that work every day, we also have a scheduler under tools, iPayment and tools. You can schedule that. So once you have iPayment running and everything looks good, you can say, okay, every day I want to settle, charge my credit cards, all my AR invoices right here. I want to charge all my AR invoices daily at 5 o'clock. And then the system does it for you. And of course, you put a success email, you put an error email, and it runs for you automatically. A lot of people use that because, you know, that saves you a lot of work, a lot of time. And then you come in the next day and you check, you know, let's see if I had any errors, because you also have like a settlement report here, authorization report. You can run this. What that means, you can go in here and say, okay, for example, I called you and I asked you, okay, what did you settle so far for me this month? And it gives you everything that was settled for me this month. Or you have an action log. And this is very, very useful because you can say, okay, you can do it by user. And you can say, okay, you want to see everything, all the users who voided transaction from this date range to this date range. You have control, and then it will give you what was voided. Okay? Yeah. So you can run everything, all the reports, what was done via iPayment. And like I said, it's very simple, very easy to configure, to install, and it's very secure. You only work with tokens, nothing else. You only work with tokens. That means the customer will never see the credit card. I mean, the user, not customer. Of course, the customer has the credit card. Okay? And again, here you see I refunded this one, and it says it, refunded. And if you would go to the linked sales order, it says also refunded. It follows all the way through. Any questions? I think that's it, Stuart, unless I forgot something. Can you think of anything?
No, I think that was very comprehensive.
Jonathan, do you have any questions?
Okay, so that's good. I could see how that could work for the sales of the physical products. Nisi, what we're looking at as well is that we're using this. We're going to have this software as a service and subscription management. I mean, how could this be used for, say, kind of from a different platform, which I don't think is actually supported by yourself? How we would actually get that to link from there to get that into SAP?
Is there a different software you're talking about, or web e-commerce, or what?
It's e-commerce, but it's a subscription management platform that we're looking at. It's not been fully decided with a thing called ChargeBee, which uses things like Stripe, and it kind of manages Stripe card. And then it's getting that, because I can see how that iPayment would work with definitely work with sales of, you know, the physical products. It's just how we're currently setting up the software as a service.
But okay, if you have an e-commerce, if I understand, okay, if you have, let's say, you sell stuff on the website, right? I assume. Do you?
Well, we would like to. I think some of us within the company would like to. I think that it's possible. We don't actually currently sell through the website at the moment, but that's something certainly for the future, which I know that some of us are keen to explore.
But let me, when you say like on the other side, so this is for SAP, and the other side, what do you do on the other side? That software as a service, what do you do? What kind of transactions?
Well, at the moment it's new. It's not actually been launched yet, so that's what we're looking at.
But what kind of transaction do they do?
What kind of transaction? So it would be a car payment. So we would either be taking a single car payment, or it would be a recurring on direct debit in certain territories.
What are you actually taking the card payment for? As in a service that you're providing?
Yeah, software. So software as a service. So it's actually like a subscription to a piece of software
Yeah, he's on demand. On demand.
Yeah.
He has an on-demand software. The only thing I can think of, I mean, we have an integration table, Stuart, you know, if they do something online, like on this software, I mean, if they use the same gateway provider, let's say they go with secure trading, you can actually import those transactions to SAP with the token. So let's say if they do authorization out there, you input the token into SAP with the, let's say, a sales order, I don't know, and then you can settle it in SAP. Or if, the authorization token, or you import the, but they pay it online, right? It's already settled online, right?
Yeah, it would be settled. They would get the payment. We would have to see the payment first, and that's actually gone through. Yeah, that would all be done before they're given the license, before they're able to get the token of the license. The exact ins and outs, I'd have to talk to the software developer. So.
I think sales orders with down payment, I would say, because you can input sales orders with authorization token, which creates a down payment, and then they can do the settlement and they can schedule it. But that's something, Stuart, I think once get closer, look at the process, because it should be doable, because we have a lot of customers, they import from a website, for example, a lot of times into SAP with the token, authorization token.
Yeah, because I think one thing might be worth just very quickly showing Rosie, if you go into sales orders, so rather than an item, or you can show a service. Yeah, so Jonathan, as well as SAP handling items, it handles service as well. So you can create your own service items. So see there, you got service, and the service could be, you know, providing, you know, software functionality for X, or, well, it's up to you. It's however you want to configure it.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I think it's doable depending how the process is on the other side.
And the beauty about things like this is you can do it in stages. You know, it doesn't have to be a big bang hit. You can go live, certainly with SAP, with the bare minimum, and just keep adding on. So, you know, it's not a case of you have to do this now or that's it. You can add it, you know, if it adds value from day one, then yeah, let's do it for day one. But it depends on how you want to stage the project, and that'll be up to the project managers, in all fairness.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, I can see that, you know, that's a useful tool, and I can see use for it. I think it would be Dean. I think probably Dean should have probably been on this as well.
Well, yeah.
So it's probably something to talk to with Dean, because it'd be Dean who's project managing, and he's the one kind of.
I mean, yeah. What you've not seen from this, and I don't remember there was two ladies in the room when I was doing the demo, who were one was finance, because I know currently with your system at the moment, you have a separate finance system compared to your manufacturing, sales orders, etc., etc. So all of this is feeding direct. We are recording this.
Oh, I better not say anything.
but no, they really liked it on the basis that everything we're doing here feeds directly into the finance part of SAP, because SAP, its backbone is finance. So all the transactions you do are updating all the journals and your general ledger, etc., in the background. So again, it's taking more work away from them, or, you know, more laborious work. You know, you're not duplicating work as such. So yeah, certainly from their point of view, I think they'd definitely appreciate something like this.
Okay. Did you show them anything to do with this, with the iPayment, or has that been spoken about? Or
no, this was additional. So I mean, we did the standard stuff. So we put a sales order on, we'd put do an invoice, and then literally show the. So Rosie, we just for a moment, you just bring up an old sales order, and they'll just show the journal entries for that, if you would, please.
Oh, you mean an air invoice?
Well, yeah, AR invoice or even a sales order, just to show the journal entry what it looks like. But yeah, this is what we showed, because obviously the two ladies are having to key everything in manually. You can see here, it does it all for you. It's all done automatically. You can see your debit and credit on both sides and what's going on in the background regarding your financial transactions.
And you can always drill back right here to the document if you pull it. Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely one of the big selling points for.
It's real time. Yep.
Yeah, and it's all real time. So, you know, all your finances are. I feel like I'm trying to sell it again. We've already sold it.
You did good, Jonathan, to go with them. You did good.
Oh no, it's fine. I said, oh yeah, we're definitely going the Skyway route in SAP. I mean, it says, I'm kind of kept at arm's length, but I know obviously through Dean and through Rob, who's been involved as well, who's my manager. You know, obviously keen to get this. So I've been helping a colleague out to make sure that our data that we're going to feed into you guys is actually going to be correct and up to date, and everything matches, dotting I's, crossing T's. And I've kind of been making sure he's still going while Rob's out of the office. He's going through like every single tiniest part of a sub-assembly of a part, and going through there. But I mean, I can see it, but I mean, I look at it and go, yeah, I understand what it does. I understand the benefits. I'm just not the same thing I want to convince.
Well, what we're going to do, Jonathan, I mean, this has been recorded, so we can send you a link. So anybody within your business, well, not anybody, but you know, the relevant people within your business can view this webinar and get a bit of a deeper grasp.
Any other questions?
No, it's still good. I understand all what's going on, so no, that's great. Thanks for the demonstration and the explanations. So.
Cool. Well, Stuart is around. If you need him, you know where to find him.
Yeah. Will do.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
That's great.
Thanks for your time, Rosie. Thanks for your time, Jonathan. Much appreciated to the pair of you.
Bye-bye.